Just seeing if we are.
Yep,
Hmm.
we are. Broadcast is live.
Yep, all gone.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Hello folks. Thanks a lot for joining us for the session for AI and VR, introduction to AI and VR today. So today we have with us Rajat and Emilios. Rajat has an amazing experience in Unity development, Android development, and has written several articles related to AR and VR for several publications like AR VR Journey, HackerNoon, and he has also been a mentor at XR Bootcamp. Talking about Emilios, he is the specialist XR recruiter and co-founder for Immersive Search, where he provides an exceptional XR talent to businesses across the globe. He is a senior recruitment professional who has successfully delivered the recruitment retention solutions to a diverse range, including industry-leading organizations and startups across EMEA and Asia Pacific regions. So, like many of you would be wondering what AI and VR is. Like you might think that it is something not for you, or like it might be something that might scare you off. But you must know that there are several small steps that you must take while going to reach that level where you can like be a professional. So here we are with Rajat, who will be giving you insights what AR VR exactly is, how you can like exactly get into it, what are the different sources and all. So over to you, Rajat, now.
Okay. Hello everyone. I think Raghav covered everything, and I'll just share my screen so that you can see my presentation. And all right. So let's get started. Since Raghav has already covered who I am, and I'll just move on to the next slide. So let's get started. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
I'm audible. Great. So let's get started. And here's a bit of background about me. Like I work with these organizations, and yeah, let's just move on to the AR/VR part. And before getting into AR/VR, I just wanted to share some there's this story that I wanted to share. All right, and this is a story of a unicorn, and this unicorn, I mean, this picture was, I asked my friend, I mean, she gave me this drawing, and she drew this unicorn. All right, and the problem with this unicorn is it's black and white. If most of you have seen this movie called Jobs in 2013, there's this line in that movie called it goes like this: the world sees computers in black and white, but we live, we dream, and we paint in color. So this particular statement is so impactful, and this actually makes sense because you know the earlier slide, I mean, this looks terrible. So I asked her to add some color, and she said no problem, she'll add some color. And then this is what happened: the black and white
Rajat,
turned
are
into
you sharing your screen? Sorry to interrupt. Like if you
yeah.
are, no, it is not actually visible on the screen. So could you just try it when it
That's
was?
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
Perfect.
I just all right, so this was the unicorn. I mean, this was a black and white unicorn that my friend gave me. And then the world seems computer. I think I'm repeating myself just because I thought some of my portion just got lost. And so she added some color, and this is what it looked like. All right, the black and white turned into a colored unicorn. So the problem with this is I'm still not happy. All right, and you see, when old mobile phones had this really weird UI, this black and white. Well, not really black and white, but there's red. But you know what I mean. I mean, it's kind of low quality, and you see the picture on the right. It looks so cool. I mean, the buttons and the logos and the text and everything, they have upgraded to a level that it just looks beautiful. right? And now with these 2D graphic elements also, I had one thought. So we see and we interact with 3D objects. I mean, you check your phone, you check your bottle, a water bottle. That's all. Those are all 3D objects. Then why are we interacting with 2D UI elements like buttons and images and text on those flat screen devices? And this, if you think of games, video games feel realistic. Why? Because they have these 3D content, 3D model. I mean, look at the horse, look at the character, look at the amazing scenery over there. All right. So video games feel realistic because the 3D content is there. It's much more relatable to the real world, right? So this is why I converted this model, this image, this drawing, this 2D drawing to a 3D model because I wanted to make it look a little more realistic. But there's again a problem with this 3D model. And what I noticed was that whenever you're playing video games, the thought that you have, it's if only we could get these characters out of the screen, like in the real world, that would have been so cool. This is the thought that almost every gamer in the world has. But that does not really mean that you do this, that you start playing PUBG in your room and you just don't do this, all right? So now what I did was I got that unicorn into my living room. And how I did that is, we'll come to that, but this is how it looked like. So I tweaked that little 3D model. I gave it a little color to it. I gave it a little color to it. And that's how it looked in my living room. All right, that now the picture on the right is in AR. So here's the problem. I still don't like this AR experience. I mean, the AR experience is fine. You always like the UI that was there. I mean, if it's functional. But if you add color to it and you add, material design properties as well, not properties, I mean, material design rules to it, and there's a lot of design trends going on, and you add that to it, it looks better, right? Now, in this particular scenario, designing an AR experience is fine. I mean, we have achieved AR in this particular slide, in this scenario. But I wanted to take it to the next level. So there was definitely something missing. Can someone tell me, like, any hint that what is missing, or what do you think can be done to make to make this experience into something much better? This AR experience, rather. What can we add to that model? You can mention your answers in the chats. And Raghav, if you can see the chats, like, just let me know what are the answers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So take 10 seconds. Just think about what are your what do you think can be done to improve this AR experience?
So we have a answer like from Himank. He's saying like textures, more realistic animations, and all.
Of course, yes. That's one way to look at it. And it's, to be honest, I related this to the Harry Potter experience, where he says expecto patronum, and there was this animal that came up in the in his surrounding, in the prison of Azkaban. So what I did was I applied something called post processing, and then this is what it looked like. That unicorn is now glowing. So I wanted that to happen. This is achieved using something called post processing in Unity, the bloom effect. But that's too technical. I don't want to get into that. But we converted this 2D image into something much more, fascinating and fantasy-like experience. So a unicorn in 2D, and then 3D unicorn in AR. So this is like a really small thing that, like, how many of you have played Fruit Ninja? Raghav, are you seeing any responses? Just let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, Fruit Ninja is
Like,
a pretty famous game. Have you played, Raghav?
yeah, so Ayushi has played it.
Okay.
There might be many more people who would have actually played once in their life. Like, it is the most common
Yeah.
game that people play. Even I have played it with myself, like, a lot.
Mhm. Okay. So here's the thing. Like, can you imagine how will Fruit Ninja look like in augmented reality? Uh, don't stress. Like, this is what I made in back in like December 2019, and this is how it looks. I mean, you're cutting fruits. I'm cutting fruits in the living room using augmented reality, using a device called Litho. Now, Litho is a device that you wear in your hand. Um, it's over here. Like, if you can see my screen, I don't know. Most probably you can see my screen, right, Raghav?
Yeah.
So it looks like this. I mean, I'm just putting it close to the camera so that you can see it as well. So you just wear it in your hand like that, and then you can control your AR experience with this device. So these are some of the cool things that are actually happening in the world, and there's a lot of potential with just this particular device and AR in general, right? So this was one of the projects that I built. Uh, there are several other projects that I have done. So you know, this is like a collection of all my AR experience that I did in 2019. So a lot of prototypes, and I'll just go over to some of just skip over to some of my experiences that I've developed, and there's just so much that you can do. And look at this one. This was done using something called ManoMotion. ManoMotion is an SDK, but all right, we leave the technical talk a little later. We keep it for a little later. But yeah, I mean, these all characters like are in my room. So with my phone and a bit of development. Okay, so um, now if we move on, like how did I do that, right? So I have got a few questions from you guys. These are the questions. Like, I have got these questions from Raghav. He has collected it very nicely and given it to me. So let's go over this one by one, and I think that will answer the question that how I actually did that. All right. So how did I make all these projects? So which platform should a beginner opt to start with AR VR? Unity. And that's all. Unity is the best beginner platform to start with AR VR, of course. And there's a lot more that goes into AR VR. But first, at least, have some sort of experience with Unity, and then you can go into AR VR. You cannot just jump into AR VR. You need to build some sort of game. I mean, try spending even 1 month with Unity and build a game. Like, even a small prototype would be fine, and it's pretty easy. There are a lot of tutorials available online. You can definitely go through all those, and you can create a good game, and then you can get started with AR VR. All right. The next question: is it required for a person to be good at coding to start with AR VR, or any person with no prior coding experience can start with this field? Now, obviously, the answer it depends, because when you are achieving AR VR, when you are creating these AR VR experiences, you don't always have to know how to code, but there are several times where coding will be involved. Why? Because when you're developing any experience, let's say you want to fetch news, and you want to display it in AR VR. A lot of memes or a lot of news, and you want to display it in augmented reality. How will you do that? You need to have a bit of knowledge in coding, in software development, so that you can actually do that, to actually fetch the news from an API. And don't worry if these words don't make sense to you. It's if you do not have knowledge in software development, you probably won't be able to connect. So that's why I've actually written an article, and this article called 9 Must-Have Skills to Become an AR/VR Developer. It's available on nightcube.medium.com. That's my Medium account. You can definitely check it out. I have listed all the skills, and you'll be able to understand what exactly you should be learning to at least get started with in AR/VR. It also has course recommendations, so definitely you can take a look. Okay. So the next thing is, apart from scripting, what all other fields are there to explore in AR/VR? Now, this question, UX design, shader development, 3D modeling, animation, all this, it actually falls under something called the subject called computer graphics. Computer graphics is, it's a subject for you in your computer science engineering course for BTech students. But it's very mathematical heavy. What you are being taught in your BTech course. But those are that serves as the foundation for creating these kind of AR/VR experiences, and putting a lot of thought into pushing forward the innovation of XR. So UX design, shader development, 3D modeling, you can learn this on your own online as well. You do not need to depend on computer graphics to learn these. That's totally fine. You can UX design is, just go to Google and type UX design. You'll see several courses over there. Shader development is a very limited topic, and there are very few tutorials on that. But there are some amazing creators out there like Freya Holmes and Dilma. They have amazing tutorials on shader development. 3D modeling can be done inside a software called Blender. Blender is a very simple tool to, not very simple, it can get a little complicated, but you can create 3D models as well as do a lot of animation work inside Blender. So yeah, and of course, this topic, the long answer for this, it's inside this article again, that same article, 9 Must-Have Skills to Become an AR/VR Developer. But the other articles, like I have some other articles like how to apply branding for AR/VR experiences. That's also something that you can take a look at. Multimodal interactions in AR/VR. That's also one of the articles that you can take a look at, and those should serve as a good starting point in AR/VR, as well as like not just scripting, but other fields to explore in AR/VR, right? So next question is like, I don't have a proper headset like Oculus Quest. Can I start with VR? Of course, you can start without a headset also. But here's the thing: that can be a bit of a challenge. Why? Because I'm speaking this from my own experience. During my remote research assistantship at IIIT Hyderabad, I was working on this project, and what I used to do was I coded in Unity in my own machine. I did not have a VR headset back then, and what I used to do, I packaged the APK, I packaged the whole the whole folder, and then I sent it back to my senior, and then he used to build the APK, and then he used to test it on a VR headset. So he was he was in Hyderabad and I was in Kolkata. So it was that's how we collaborated. So that's a challenge. And there is another thing that you can do if you really want to start with VR. There's something called Web XR Exporter from Mozilla. and that's a fantastic tool that you can use with Unity. And you can what you can do is you can create an experience in Unity that can be deployed to um, you can test it on a web browser through interactions using your keyboard as well as your mouse, but you can also use a VR headset and experience the same kind of whatever you build, right? So Mozilla WebXR Exporter is one of the many ways that you can start with VR if you do not have a proper headset. So, but again, at the end of the day, the first requirement for you is Unity, right? You need to have a good sound knowledge of Unity and a bit of programming experience. Only then you can go into Mozilla WebXR Exporter. All right. The next question is high-end gaming PC required for developing AR/VR applications? So this question was asked like I don't know 7 months ago, and someone asked me he should buy a VR headset to get freelance projects and all. Well, this is the reality, all right. Now it costs nothing less than 50,000 rupees, and a computer with low configuration will literally make life hell for you as a VR developer, and that's from my own experience because I had to I had to do several internships as well as several side gigs to earn enough so that I can get a good machine, and by God's grace, I could do that. So that's that's something that you have to keep in mind. And to be honest, my advice will be again the highlighted portion of this part is that like learn the fundamentals of Unity. If you're done with it already, then try out the WebXR exporter, and it lets you develop VR experience and deploy it on the browser. So yeah, and that's it. And if you can get a VR headset from your organization or your college, if your college is ready to invest into your this is industrial education and this is actually useful for you. So if they are ready to do that, go for it. If they are not, then well, you can go for AR and at least get the fundamentals of Unity together. And there's a lot more that you can do with Unity rather than just sitting and waiting for the VR application to come and then you'll get started with Unity. That does not make sense. So yeah, that's one thing. And the other question, yeah, why to prefer AR VR? What are the future prospects of AR VR? Big companies are already investing into AR VR, and it's not only the big companies. There's several startups. I mean, I just showed you Litho, right? They are doing some wonderful work as well. I mean, this sort of hardware that you can control AR VR experiences with, you don't see this kind of innovation anytime, anywhere. So the other aspect to it is like there's this one startup that is creating this whole this whole Earth, a whole virtual copy of this Earth. So it's really complicated. I cannot share the details. It's confidential, but it's something like that will blow your mind away. I don't want to go into that really, but it's like renting virtual real estate. So I hope you get that what it means. But that's all that I can share. I cannot give any more details about that. But yeah, that's all. So that's all from my side. I am not getting into the technical details. I just wanted to give you a very brief introduction to ARVR. And now I would like to get some more questions that you probably might be having.
So we have a lot of folks interacting a lot. Like Aditya says, like Microsoft Mesh is one of the really amazing AR-centric experiences recently. And like there are several tech companies like you showed, like Apple. Like Apple has recently, there were rumors that Apple is planning some mixed reality headset. So yeah, so these are the very big companies that are investing slowly in this field. Like Google Maps also introduced the feature for AR, like you can use navigation using AR. So which I feel is a very good thing to start with.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I won't discourage you to get into AR centric experiences with these big augmented reality headsets and virtual reality headsets. But the cost is really high right now. I won't consider myself investing in that right now. But if you have the funds, go for it. Like if you are ready, you are passionate about it, just go for it.
Like you can surely test, like if you like Instagram filters or Facebook filters or Snapchat filters, you can surely visit Spark AR or Lens Studio. Like they have an amazing
For sure.
resources which you can develop, and you can like develop for yourself, and you can like publish them on Snapchat and others will be using them as well. So this is one of the good thing that they are doing. Yeah.
Yeah, regarding Spark AR and Lens Studio, I didn't cover that in this presentation, but because now see, I don't want to confuse you with so many different IDs, and you can do AR VR with Unity. That there's so many different. I don't want to even take the names right now because I don't want to confuse you. But you can always find that information in my articles that I've written, and I tell you as well what is the problem with those different solutions as well. So please take a look, and if you go through that, you'll be able to understand why I'm sticking only to Unity. Okay, and yeah, I guess that's all from my side, and I think Emilios will take over from here, and what immersive search is doing really is uh, immersive search
Like
is one of
before Rajat, before you go on, like let me just
yeah
introduce Emilios once more. Like
yeah
before that, we have a question over here. Aditya is asking, how do you see the growth of AI and VR usage in domains such as education on large scale in developing countries like India in the near future?
yeah. So this is a great question, by the way. Um, you know, education right now it's happening like this. Okay, this is pretty. How would I say? You will be getting bored. I'm sure of it. I mean, you will be getting bored after watching 1 hour of content like this. I mean, just you and me talking on a video with a camera. It's not how we really innovate and how we really have that sort of education. It's not immersive enough. I mean, you cannot compare this with school level or the interaction that you have with your fellow peers in college, right? Now, that is the kind of gap that AR VR can bridge. Like what can be done is you can have a human avatar in front of you that will be the human avatar of your friend, and you both will be working on a cool project together, and you'll be able to see what he shows or what she shows, and whatever you're working on, whatever project. So let's say in the medical environment, if you are learning how to conduct operation on someone, that's education, right? The doctor or the teacher who will be showing you how to do that, he's educating you, right? Now that can be done via AR VR and using the human avatar concept that I just told you about. So that's just one way of growing AR VR in education. So there's much more. Of course, there's this company. I do not know the name. I forgot the name of the company. Elixir, I guess. What they are doing is they are taking these NCRT books that we used to have back in, like we used to solve JE problems, uh, physics problems, those cool pulleys and kinematics, laws of motion, all that we used to do have those problems, and we used to solve those. Now what they are doing is like they'll get your books, and once you take your phone and you scan your book, you'll be able to see the visualization of that particular problem, or or a transistor working, or a lot a lot of other things that can be done with it, right? I mean, physics is a whole different world, and you can see the visualization of each and every um, chapter that you study. So that itself is something that we are still hoping that, with evolve, with as AR/VR gets, more evolved and there are more advancements, we'll be able to see such kind of education growing. Yeah.
So now, thank you, Rajat. That was really a good information. So now I would like to invite Emilios. Like Emil, before I invite him, let me give a brief overview about him. So he is an specialist XR recruiter and co-founder for Immersive Search. And he, like, let me tell you, he's such a frank person. Like, you can reach out to him anytime via LinkedIn, and if you are having any problem, that he would be really happy to take it up. So over to you, Emilios, now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to say a big thank you for taking the time to be with us today. It's an honor to spend time with you all and learn from each other. Just a quick introduction. My name's Emilios. I'm a specialist recruiter and co-founder at Immersive Search. Our HQ is in London, UK. However, we are currently supporting XR projects across the globe with recruitment solutions. In terms of breaking down our 4 key missions for you, providing exceptional XR talent to businesses across the globe via our streamlined platform, support network for professionals that want to upskill via our XR training partners, XR Bootcamp and Lead Vision, create clear pathways for graduates to enter the XR industry, as we're currently collaborating with the MSA and Arvr Canadian universities in Egypt, and of course the Amity University in India, which we are proud to be supporting at the moment. And I think all of this is for a main goal, which is to contribute in the process of making XR safe, inclusive and accessible for the global community. So that was just a quick introduction. Rajat, could we go to the... That's it. Perfect. Next one, please. Perfect. Yeah, so I myself have 13 years experience working in recruitment, predominantly telecommunications. However, for the last 6 months, myself, Mariam, and Jason have been focused solely on XR. And you know what? This industry is full of special people. Honestly, we've worked and supported a few industries, but our experience so far from reaching out to people globally at all levels is something really, really special. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So there's 3 people in the team. It's myself. I'm responsible for effectively finding candidates, supplying, filling vacancies for our clients, and of course, we're here to support candidates if they want to get into the industry. If you're looking for what steps to take, if you're looking for CV feedback, if you're looking for portfolio feedback, if you're looking for potential tools, learning tools to upgrade on, please, we're here to help. Mariam is co-founder, operations director. She really holds the ship together. And Jason is our growth advisor. He's currently based in Singapore and is in the process of helping us establish an entity in Asia. Myself and Jason previously worked for an organization called Rise for about 10 years. And we have we've supported large recruitment and retention solution campaigns in Europe, Middle East, and Asia Pacific, and Africa, of course. Areas we specialize in. So VR, AR, MR, gaming and haptic, and WebXR. Okay, so what are they? In a nutshell, virtual reality. So just think completely digital environment, fully enclosed, synthetic experience with no actual sense of the real world. Augmented reality, real world with digital information overlay. The real world remains central to the experience, enhanced by virtual details. Now, mixed reality. This is where real and virtual are intertwined. Interaction with manipulation of both physical and virtual environment. Sorry, my phone's... Okay. Yeah, next slide, please, Rajat. Thank you. Services, contract, permanent, retained search, and talent retention. So contract seems to be the popular model at the moment for a number of project-based assignments. Contractors will typically work per hour, per day, or per month, depending on the client requirements. And once the project is finished, they will then search on for another project. We will obviously support people looking for additional work after their contract's finished. Permanent is certainly something longer term. It's for organizations who are really interested in investing in staff and certainly keeping them for the long term and growing internally within the organization. Retained search, that's a service offering which we will liaise with an organization exclusively, directly, dig really deep into their organization to understand exactly what their culture is like, what their vision is, what their specific requirements are, and how we can potentially collaborate to strategically develop their workforce. Talent retention in the XR industry, due to the scarcity of some skills, a lot of organizations are finding it extremely hard to retain talent. So what we're doing is we're working with organizations to understand what career paths professionals have available to them when they join an organization, but also what tools are available for them to develop and upskill. Yeah, so roles we cover, it's quite an interesting array of positions. Now, we deliver right up to strategic levels in animation, art, development, commercial and production. But I'd say typically at the moment, most of our roles that we tend to receive are on the software development and software engineering and UX design at the moment. Sectors. Okay, so before we actually got into the industry and we were doing our research, of course, gaming and entertainment was a predominant industry sector. Sorry. However, what we've seen is now a big shift because of the current climate to a numbers of sectors. Whether that's architecture, construction and engineering, automotive or transportation. Some examples could be virtual prototyping for automotive and transportation, augmented training, immersive showrooming for architecture, construction, engineering. It could be education and training, construction assembly procedures, sustainability analysis. And obviously, where we're seeing big growth at the moment, higher education, specifically remote learning, collaboration anytime, anywhere, and personalized learning experiences, as well as healthcare and life sciences, which is broken down into frontline patient care, doctor and surgeon training, and AR headsets. Some organizations that we're currently supporting at the moment, we're delighted to be working with these organizations and hope that by collaborating with more people globally and reaching out to more people, we're able to support the community in India and try and work out how we're going to make impact by creating clear pathways for students to get into the industry and then connecting them with the right organizations. Thank you. Please reach out to us. One thing we will promise is a conversation with you. So if you send us your email, your CV, or if you just reach out to us, someone will call you, either myself, Mariam, or Jason. So we're not people who just ignore emails, because a lot of students that we speak to at the moment are very frustrated with the lack of feedback they're getting, the lack of support, and we're trying to address these issues by having direct engagement. So if this industry interests you, please reach out to me, hello@immersive-search.com. We promise you we'll have a chat. And yeah, thank you. I just wanted to keep it short and simple for everyone.
So thank you, Emilios, for such a good introduction. So thank you, folks, for joining, and those who are with us now. Like Emilios also mentioned, like you can share your CV with them. So I have provided you with their LinkedIn's and the handles, LinkedIn handles and the email IDs. And for the people who are in this, who are present with us in this session till now, I'll be sharing a form with you all, with you all, and filling that form you can like upload your CVs and we'll be forwarding it to Emilios, and he'll be very happy to have get in a call with you for 15 to 30 minutes where he'll be telling you about your CVs and he'll be also mentoring you. Like he's such a nice person to approach to, like you can approach him anytime via LinkedIn and he always answers your queries, and he's always ready to help you in all possible ways he can. So thank you all for joining. So this was from our side. Rajat, you are on
Yeah.
mute.
Yeah, I just noticed. Sorry, it keeps happening with me all the time. So it was a really pleasure being over here. And you know what? I'm always active on LinkedIn and Twitter. And I'm always sharing news on Twitter. I'm more active on Twitter right now than LinkedIn. But yeah, I mean, whatever articles that I write, you can always find me posting it here and there. And you can always find Emilios doing the same thing. I mean, he takes all my articles and he shares it with the world.
Can I
So
just
that's
say, guys, if you haven't had time to read Rajat's articles yet, please go and check them out. They're absolutely fantastic. Rajat was one of the first people I spoke to in this industry when we got into it. We've developed a fantastic relationship. Raghav, we're collaborating daily at the moment. So just please, guys, just make sure you are aware that this is a support network for you. So irrelevant of what time zones, days of the week, we offer a 24/7 service. So it's important everyone's aware of that. We're here to help.
Rajat, there are many people who are praising your PPTs, like they are like saying that they are much sorted and in simple manner and giving exactly what you wanted to deliver. So
yeah.
thanks a lot
Thank
for
you.
such an awesome presentation.
Fantastic. It was fantastic,
Thanks.
Rajat.
Yeah, I try to break it down into a story form because I do not want to, make you overwhelmed with all these technical terms and everything. I wanted to show you what's AR. I don't want to bug you with terminologies. That's why. Yeah. Cool. Thanks a lot, Aditya. Thanks a lot, Ayushi. Thanks everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, team. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thanks
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye bye.
See you.